Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm stopping by to talk to you about how to become calmer and less reactive. I don't care who you are or what your age is. I know one of your problems, and it's stress because you're too reactive. You are far more reactive than you even realize. See, there are big stresses in the world, big ones, and then there are little ones. And in order to be able to deal with the big stresses, you must also be able to deal with the little ones. If you can't deal with the little ones, then you won't be able to deal with the big ones. So start practicing with the little ones. Little things that irritate you a little bit, or exasperate you, or make you nervous, or make you a little bit angry, or make you a little bit resentful. Watch out for those. And how do you do that? Just start to notice that you're reactive. Notice your body language, or your breathing, or your tension. Notice it. The other day, I was watching some stuff on YouTube. I forget what I was doing. I think I was watching something on YouTube or listening to some audio. I forget, something. And it was lengthy. It was some kind of research that I'm doing, most likely. It was a little bit lengthy. And at the end, I got up and I was all stiff. I think I had been sitting in some odd position, and I didn't even know it. You have tension in you. And then how about your nervous headaches and all kinds of stuff like that, tummy aches and everything? You know, finally, when you get the headache, you notice it, or you get the tummy ache, you notice it, or you're all stiff, you notice it. But it came as an accumulation of, see? So if you could nip it in the bud, if you could be sitting there and you're totally caught up in something and then all of a sudden you notice it, and now you take a mental step back and you're not caught up in it. See, it's when you get caught. See, if something comes along, a little traffic, or somebody comes with some issue, or there's some noise, or there's some interruption, and you get angry a little bit, or irritated a little bit, or peeved a little bit, or upset a little bit. See, those accumulate. And somehow it has captured your attention. Before your attention was free. You were free to scan, to watch, to notice. You were free to give your attention. But then somebody came with something that irritated you, and it captured your attention. And not only did it capture your attention, but it affected you emotionally. So what I want you to do is just to begin to notice how reactive you are. Just notice it. And when you notice it, don't resent yourself. And don't resent the person. Don't resent the cause of it. Don't resent anything. Just notice. See? So if you can notice it without resenting it, just notice it. That in itself is already a beginning. It's a separation where now your conscious awareness is separated from that. And you observe it. And there's nothing that will hold it together. See, when something captures your attention and then you resent it, and then you get angry, the resentment and the anger, or the resentment and the irritation, that sustains it. see, it reinforces it and sustains it. And then it becomes a memory. And then eventually you can become upset by the memory. See? So the first thing is notice it. Don't resent it. Just observe it. And then it will diminish because there's nothing to sustain it. Then if a memory comes, let's say somebody says something to you that out of nowhere they come with some rude remark. And you resent it or resent them, let's be honest. All right, then it forms a memory. And then the next day, all of a sudden, it comes to mind and you resent it again. So the next day, if you fall and that happens to you, then the next day, when it comes again, now stand back and don't resent it. Don't resent the memory. Just observe it. And once again, now there's nothing to sustain it. Gradually, it will diminish. It will go away. It'll dissolve away. It's emotions that sustain these negative things and these reactions. So if you don't resent it, then the next time something like that happens, maybe no reaction at all. No upset, no irritation. You just observe. See? So you must reestablish control over your consciousness, which you can do with the help of my little sitting quietly exercise and with the help of my meditation. Either one is good. If you want to just put one toe in the water, then get the sitting quietly exercise. It's a little biofeedback, tells you how to sit quietly and practice a little hand warming, becoming aware of your hands until they tingle a little bit. And aware of your hands, you feel calm and centered. And then the meditation would be the next step. In fact, you could go to the meditation right away. I mean, it's free. They're all free. I made another video and had the wrong microphone on, so it didn't work. But in that one, I said that there's nothing to buy. There's nothing. This is not an introductory offer or anything like that. This is it. The meditation, that's all you need. And it's free. You don't need anything else. But you really must get started. We have a little window of opportunity now. We've had a reprieve. We can take a deep breath and be grateful. Grateful to God. And use this time for good. And you're not going to do anybody any good if you're angry and resentful or judgmental and you're just pretending to be nice, because everything you do is false. And even if it's not completely false, which it is, it doesn't have love in it. See, the only way that you can have love, look, I know a lot of you do a lot of nice things for people. You do things for your kids. You do things for other people. I know you do. And I know you mean well. But I just want you to understand that you've probably wondered sometimes why it backfires, or people run away from, they want your help, or you wonder why, you think it's going to help somebody and it doesn't really help them, or you try to change people and they don't change, and so on and so forth. And you get frustrated. See, so you stress yourself. But why hasn't it been working? Because A, your ego is involved, and B, there's no real love in it. Whatever love is, it comes from God. And as long as you try to be the source of love, see, or as long as it's a pretense, underneath you're resentful, you're mad at your husband, and you're a little bit resentful, and you're judging somebody, that separates you from love. Whenever you resent, it separates you from love. Whenever you judge somebody, it separates you from love. Why? Because you're playing God. And now you're in conflict with the real God because you're playing him. You're judging. It's his job. He's the one that judges, not you. You watch, you observe people, you overlook. Sure, it's okay to see error. If you see someone's doing something that's not good, then just see it. But don't resent him. Don't judge him. See? So, but the point I was trying to make is, I forgot what point I was trying to make. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So everything you've ever done hasn't had any love in it. It's been done out of guilt for having resented people and judged them and hated them and been angry with them and irritated at them. So you felt guilty, so you did it out of that. Or you did it as a show, putting on a show, trying to convince them and yourself that you're a nice person, see? So just let your hair down. Stop trying to put on a show for anybody. Don't put on a show for God. Just go about your business, go about your life, and start by just watching. And start by watching yourself. And how can you watch yourself? When you practice the little exercise or the meditation and you have a little bit of objectivity. Now your consciousness is free to observe, and you can observe your error, this time without reacting to your error. So reacting to the other person with a little bit of irritation, for example, that's wrong. All right, now you see it. Okay, now the next thing is don't react to your reaction. Don't resent yourself for reacting. Don't resent the person for causing you to react. They didn't really cause you to, but you see what I mean? So your character builds that way. And then you begin to be able to deal with the small things calmly with no response. It's not that you're pretending to be calm. You are. No response. Okay? And then you will then grow in character, and you will grow to meet the next biggest challenge and the next biggest one. See? So there you go. So now why don't you get started? Now's a good time to get started. We have a little window of opportunity for you to work on yourself. And the way you do that is not the old egotistical way where you're trying to improve yourself. No. Now you're just willing to see your own boo-boo, your own mistake. You're willing to see it and not resent it. And you can see that what I'm saying has some merit, that you're too reactive. So I want you to just become aware of that fact. Don't try to do anything about it. Don't try to change yourself. Just begin to observe these little moments. And like I said, now there comes the moment. But here's the beautiful part. I'll leave you with something really nice. When you are objective, in other words, when you're standing back, maybe you're aware of your hands, you're calm, and here comes the moment. There is a little space. See, the soul is outside of time. When you are objective, when you're having taken a mental step back, your soul is outside of time. So here comes the moment, and you see it, but just before you would have reacted, now you see, somehow by seeing it, you have patience and you don't react. So you don't have to react. You don't have to get upset. But yeah, now there's a condition. Your body is conditioned to react. But that will diminish. You will gain control over that also. It will diminish when it's no longer reinforced and sustained. But I want you to see that you don't have to become resentful. That's your biggest problem, is resentment, actually. Here comes the moment. Your soul is outside of time. You see the moment, and you don't react. Dr. Viktor Frankl, the famous Holocaust survivor, has a famous quote. It's very popular. and I won't get it quite right, but he says between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is your power to choose your reaction. And in that choice is your future and your destiny. So there's a little space. See, he got it, didn't he? But I add a little bit extra. I tell you that when you are objective, you are outside of time. But when you go around always reacting and emotional and trying to make things happen, and your ego is involved, and then you are not objective. You need a little bit of mental distance, and you can practice acquiring that. You see, it begins once again with something little. Start with something very little. In the morning, sit quietly and do the little meditation that I have. Or like I said, if you want to just put one toe in the water, then do the little sitting quietly exercise. That's something little, but it gets you started. See, you start off calm. You start off a little bit of a distant a sense of detachment, a little bit of mental distance. And you go out in the world and things happen and they don't even bother you. And then you're free. If it doesn't bother you, see, then you have to play catch up, trying to calm down afterwards. If nothing bothers you, your consciousness, your attention is free. Now you can lovingly give your attention, direct your attention to someone with a need. See? It's beautiful.